Hi, everyone. I'm Diana, the podcast host for this episode of the Banu podcast. I'm a coach and trainer, and I live in Romania and help people make meaningful career changes. We decided to switch it up for season two to give Ben a little break, so I've taken over for this episode. At Banu Podcast, we're talking with people who share their experience, their knowledge, their insights with a future oriented view. My guest today is Malvina Biel, an expat in Bucharest, Romania. She's been living and working here for the past 3.5 years, if I'm remembering correctly.
Yes, you are
And
right.
I'm looking forward to ask her some questions about herself and about being an expat in Romania. Welcome, Malvina.
Thank you very much for inviting me.
My pleasure. It's been great chatting to you offline separately, and it's great to have a conversation with you today as well. So, I'd love to hear a bit about you. So, could you let me know what you do for work here and where you're originally from?
So maybe I will start. I'm from Poland. I'm Polish. Now I work in Romania. You are right, for 3.5 years. And currently I work in credit management.
Hmm. Sounds like a serious job. So
It
we'll
is.
make, yeah, we'll
Not gonna
maybe
lie, it
address it.
is.
Yeah, it sounds like it. And I remember I did a different thing in finance, but I remember my years in finance and the rigor and the strictness of working with numbers for sure. So I'm curious in terms of you coming to Romania and being here for the last 3.5 years, did you come to our country for a job or was it something else?
Yes, it was for a job. Nobody really dreams about moving to Romania. Like, if they don't know anything about the country, it's not like Paris, like, oh, wow, I would love to move to Paris, one day. So it was kind of an accident. I was looking for a job desperately because I couldn't find anything for a longer period of time after finishing college. And I was just desperate. My savings were going tiny,
Mm,
tiny, tiny, and I needed money, so I took this opportunity in the company I was applying in Prague. They didn't really have a good position for me in Prague, but they had in Bucharest. They offered some relocation, and I was like, I guess I need to go. I didn't want it to. I was scared. I was so scared, but I was like, okay, the salary is very good for me. I could rent my own place without other people, and I can get experience. So I guess I need to go, and I went.
yeah. Well, very courageous of you, given the background that you had and the information that you had. And I'm curious, what was different from the stories that you've heard from people when you actually came to Romania?
Everything was different. Everything was different. My expectations were on the lower bottom. I was thinking it's gonna be ruins, nasty, ugly, dirty, with a lot of Roma people around and scammers or something like that. So I was so scared. I was so scared to go. But I was pleasantly surprised. Like, nothing was like my expectations. It was much, much better. I arrived here in Bucharest. I saw it's a normal city. Everything is okay. There is metro, which works really, really good. There is a lot of lines, like much more than in Warsaw. We have two in Warsaw, so
Mhm.
it was pleasant surprise. And honestly, it's a normal city. You can live and have everything you like. So that was a positive surprise.
Yeah. And I know we were talking in our first conversation exactly about this discrepancy of what you were hearing and what actually was your experience when you came to Romania and was really, really
Mhm.
different. And I'm curious, so you told me about your first impression, right? When you joined and you saw it was a normal European city. And then how did your perception or your impression of the city, of the country change over time, over the 3.5 years you've been here?
My impression is getting better and better, honestly. Because I came, like, the expectations were lower, but when I saw how many job opportunities it's here and how nice are the office buildings, which are super modern, I was not expecting that. Like, I don't know if I can tell it, but even the toilets were nice,
Okay.
with the
Bonus point.
some foil around, which was turning, so you always have it sanitarized and nice. So I was so impressed. And honestly, office life is great in Romania. Like, I noticed that the Romanian people likes to go out together. Even after
Mhm.
work, it's not paid or anything, but they like to hang out together with the people they are working. They're happy to have lunch together. to help you with little things during your day. They love to chat or go for a cigarette. So that was really nice because Polish people are kind of strict, and when they
Mm.
are working, and when they're closing the laptop, they want to forget about work life and work colleagues. It's not like that in Romania. I noticed that a lot of workplaces have WhatsApp group, like a family style
Yeah.
group, and after work you text each other memes or funny pictures you found, or you ask who is coming to office tomorrow, or you inform about your birthday, so the people can come and have some treats from you if you bring a cake or something. So
Mhm.
it's really nice. I must admit, it's really nice so far, and comparing it to Poland is much better.
Okay, bonus points for us then. I'm happy to hear that. And I can confirm that that's kind of the office culture in Bucharest and different corporations, multinationals, or even smaller companies, not the huge ones necessarily, of engaging with our colleagues and making friends and keeping those friends. If you leave that job and you still keep in touch with two or three people from your previous work, you
Yes.
hang out. Yeah, you go out for a drink, you go out for lunch or dinner. It's quite nice, and I really appreciate that about how we do things around here as well. So thank you for confirming my impression too. And I'm also curious, what were the bigger cultural differences that you've noticed, maybe comparing Poland to Romania? So first, we're talking about the office differences, that people are more interested in making friends and collaborating and communicating or socializing in Romania versus Poland. You said they want to work when they work, and then they close their laptops, computers, and they're out. They don't really want to keep in touch with colleagues.
Mm-hmm.
What else have you noticed that's maybe striking to you as a difference between Poland and Romania? It could be professionally related, or it could be like personal stuff as well.
Mm-hmm. I must say that Romanian people are not so different than Polish. I was so surprised to learn. Like, I think more culture shocks I had in Prague, in Czech Republic, than in Romania. I was surprised we have similar sense of humor,
Mm-hmm.
similar values. I guess shared history it helps. But the biggest difference, like in private life, it was that people are so open and cordial towards new people. They're happy to make new people. Like I don't think really Polish people likes making new friends, or they don't give that impression. Because we are really not trusting people at first. You get in trust with lots of time. But here people were so nice and so open very fast and cordial to each other, and not afraid to show feelings or to say like,
Mm-hmm.
look, I really like you, you're making my day better. I'm not talking about my fiance, but general like friends I met,
Yeah.
and keep in contact for some time. For me it's shocking, like imagining my Polish friend saying to me like, I really appreciate it. It's super rare, maybe for my birthday or something. So I
The
was
once a
surprised
year
that
gift.
people are not sure, they are having the hearts on the hand, towards you. The cultural difference, which is not so nice. The drivers are crazy here. I must admit, traffic regulations are just traffic suggestions in
Yeah,
this
yeah, yeah. And
scenario.
traffic is getting worse and worse here in Bucharest. I can attest to that as well.
Yes, and when it comes to work, I think it's important to be a bit extra nice. I would say to not be very direct. You can be direct, but let's say first come and say hello. How are you doing? Don't insist on people if you think they may be late. Even the deadline is coming, you're not sure they will meet it. It's nicer to go and ask, "Hi guys, it's everything okay?" Instead of being very direct, like there is a deadline and how are you doing? Like
Mhm.
in Poland, we have this approach. There is a deadline. What are you doing? Which is not bad, because that works with Polish culture. We like everything efficient. It wouldn't be considered bad or anything, but here it's nicer to ask, "Hi, how are you doing? How is it going? Do you need help?" Like, be a bit blunt, but be nice.
Okay, being direct and also inquiring about the person's life and how they are in general.
Yeah.
I was imagining myself as you were talking, perhaps in a Polish office or working in a Polish environment. And if someone came to me directly and said this or asked me a question directly about work, I would be like surprised probably because I would expect to have a bit of a conversation before we get into
Yeah,
that
that now that
particular
happens to
topic.
me when I think I told you when I was in delegation in Poland,
Yeah.
I was so surprised because people were just coming to my desk and do this and bye, and I was like, oh wow, where is hello, where is how are you doing, where is if you have time, I got used to, I got
Yeah.
romanized a bit.
Yeah. Happy to hear that. So that seems like a difference in their communication style versus our communication style as cultures, as countries, and also perhaps an attitude or behavior. What's normal there, we would find a bit surprising here, and probably the other way around too. If you noticed any other communication style differences between Poland and Romania, what else could you add here?
I would especially emphasize like don't push the tasks. Don't try to hurry any Romanian person because they hate it, and nothing gonna be done faster. Like I realize that Romanian have their way. If they feel like first taking a coffee or finishing another conversation, it's fine to wait because I realize people still meeting deadlines, but they are just not rushing and they are doing it their
Mhm.
way. So that was a big surprise for me because when my manager approaching me and saying, I don't know, Malvina, please do the spreadsheets, I stand up immediately and I go because he told me.
Yeah.
But he was like, he came to me, he said, hey, could you do these sheets? And I stand and he was like, no, 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 sit down, finish your conversation, then you can go and do the spreadsheet. It's okay. And it may seem like at first that it's not the best strategy, like short term, because why nothing is done immediately, but long term, it's much better because people still meet deadlines. It's not like they are lazy or anything like that, but they are taking their times and they are not rushing, which in
Mhm.
the better, when you put more attention and do one thing at the time, in the end it's better. So I had to learn it because I am very Polish. I want to rush myself and other people. And I was so annoyed when I was like, hey guys, let's go for a coffee. And they're like, okay, finishing the email or task. And I was like, I was like, okay, now I learned a lot of words you have to use to like because you would just say, let's go, they will be okay slowly. But if you really want to go, it's like, hi,
Yes,
gata.
yes.
So,
Saying it in Romanian helps.
yes, yes,
Yeah,
yes. You
yeah,
must
yeah.
encourage a
Yeah,
bit.
I feel that. I feel so I'm more similar to you rather when you said about efficiency and getting things started and maybe proactivity as well. Um, about work and tasks in general. But I do see that quite a lot around in colleagues and people I know and my friends as well about taking time and then once I'm done with this thing, I'm going to start with the next. It's probably healthier for us to do, as you said, one good thing at a time. So yeah, definitely I can relate to what you're saying here. So then if we were to talk about careers, if we take a step back, right, and look more macro, if you were to compare from your information, from your experience, the career opportunities that you've noticed and have experienced here in Romania and the ones that you know about and have experienced in Poland, what stands out to you in terms of career opportunities between these countries?
So as you know, I changed my jobs like 4 times already, but it wasn't like I was kicked out. I wanted to change. I was climbing the career steps, so to say.
Mhm.
What I would say positive, it's that people are a bit more open-minded. They are not so strict if you have exactly right studies or if you have exact amount of experience, but they like want to give you a chance and test you a bit in the practical environment. They don't really push so much on theory and of possibly, but they want actually to check what you have, and that's why I got a lot of chances because it was like I don't really have a background, but let's give her a chance
Yes.
because she has the right attitude. We give her some tests. She does well. She goes well with people. So let's give her a chance. I have a feeling that it's not so easy in Poland. I would say, because you need to cross this barrier of a lot of
Mhm.
requirements, which sometimes they are not useful. Like, do you have this certificate or not? Even if you will not use it at your workplace, but just to fill in the proper sheets that you have it. So That was my experience, and I think you have a bit, if you are ambitious person, you have a bit more chances in Romania, I would say, in Poland, because the job market is rising constantly, but now we have a bit harder time on the job market,
We
maybe
do,
this
yeah.
year, but it is rising currently. So I think it's a bit easier for ambitious person, for somebody who wants to try something new. It was really good for me. Like I had so much troubles to get a good job in Poland, or if it was some chance, it was very little paid because they were like, "Look, we are giving you this chance, so it's opportunity itself. So the
Hmm.
pay will be shitty or really small, you know."
Hmm. That's interesting, and that's really interesting what you said about certificates and probably accreditations. Even though you might not use them in your role, you need to have them to show
Yeah.
something when you go and get hired. What I usually tell people when we are doing trainings or workshops and we talk about career development, career paths, career changes, because I do a lot of work around that, when it comes to applying for jobs and looking over job descriptions, is I encourage people to apply even though they don't have uh, all of those bullet points right checked on that job description. And I've had the same experience here, and not only here but working in Ireland for a bit as well. I did, of course, check some of those bullets, but not everything. And I had the opportunity to get that role because of the way that I presented myself at the
Mm-hmm.
interview, because of the interest that I had in the people there in the role, because I was like social with people. Same
Mm-hmm.
here in Romania. And I can think about my last job that I had where I did a career transition from finance into learning and development full time. And I did have experience in training and working, collaborating with people, creating different projects, but not to the extent of someone with huge experience just in learning and development. And I got that opportunity again, even though I didn't check all the boxes on the job description. And I did a great job while I was there because I was like, yes, I'm going to give 110%. You
Yeah.
are okay to have me in your
Mm-hmm.
team. I'm interested in it. So there could be some benefits of getting someone in your team who's enthusiastic and interested about the role, about that opportunity, even though they don't have 100% of the bullets checked. And I'm happy to hear that you have a similar experience
Mm-hmm.
to my own. And I really wish that more and more companies can see that as an advantage rather than, oh, yeah, this person needs to have all these five certifications and
Mm-hmm.
this technical background and so on and so forth, because tools and tech and all that, that's learned. And in
You
this
can learn.
era
You
of
can always
technology,
learn.
we catch it on quick.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing that insight with me. So, if we move from the professional life to the personal life, how did you get to build your social circle ever since coming to Romania?
It was pretty easy, as I was telling you, like, because people were scaring me, like, you are adult now, not a student. It's not so easy to meet new people, make friends, but I feel like it was really easy. First place to meet your colleagues is, of course, at work, and not everybody will be your friend. That's obvious. You need to be kind to everybody, but not everybody will gonna be your friend. But I really find friends at work. So each workplace I was changing, I was keeping some friends, so my circle was getting bigger and bigger. Also had my fiance and his friends are becoming my friends and his family. So it's already a lot of people. But also when people hear you talking in English in some club or in some pub, they are happy to start conversation with you, just to ask you where you come from, and then it keeps going.
Hmm.
Also like some kind of forums or Facebook groups,
Yeah.
like expats in Bucharest, expats in Romania, Polish people in Romania, something like that. It's also a great place. It may seem a bit weird, like, on Facebook, but it was great place to meet people with similar interests. Like if somebody likes to hike, or if somebody likes
Hmm.
cinema, other stuff, it was a really good place to meet people who are similar to you. And I think it's crucial to maintain friendship when you have some similar, hobbies and same things you like. So
Yeah.
yeah, and I have a lot of Polish friends, which is nice. I think it's really nice because I don't feel so alone, or I never feel homesick. I can always talk with Polish with somebody.
Nice.
So it's really nice. And Polish people mostly. I met one person. she or him introduced me to the next one and the next one and the
Mhm.
next one. So it keeps growing. And I would like to stress out that networking is really important, especially when you live abroad. It's good to go out of your comfort zone to meet some people to get the opportunities, because either you got great friends and you have somebody to invite for your birthday or Christmas or anything like that, or for work. Like if they will recommend you, your chances of getting a job
Mhm.
are much higher.
Oh, yeah, that's such a sweet point. I love that you said that. I'm all for networking and for meeting people and for helping each other out with professional opportunities and in our personal life as well. So I'm hearing that you have both Romanian friends and you have expat friends and Polish friends,
Mhm.
all here in Bucharest. And it's wonderful that you mentioned these groups. I know when I was an expat in Ireland that I used meetups a lot. It was
Mhm.
quite pervasive over there, and I met people through expats from other countries, Romanians that were there as well, and Irish people who wanted to meet different people from different
Mhm.
countries in those meetings or sessions.
Mhm.
And it was wonderful to get that opportunity. So the expat groups recommend them to everyone who goes and lives in another country. I'm happy to hear that you have such a bustling social life here in Romania.
Yes,
And
yes.
now, as I told you in our first conversation, you know someone new, a Romanian person myself, and definitely we can hang out. So
Sure.
besides Romania, I know that you've also, and you mentioned it earlier, I know that you've also lived in the Czech Republic and in
Yes.
Portugal
Yes.
for a
Yes.
while.
Yes. Yes.
What do you think now if we go and think about the expat life in different places? What do you think an expat needs to develop in terms of skills so that they have a successful life or career abroad?
It's good to be open. Honestly, it's necessary to be open for other people, for other opportunities. To not be
Hmm.
dismissive, like, oh, these customs are so weird. I would not approach it like it's so weird. Be curious, like, oh, it's interesting, it's different. Let's see, let's try to understand. So, getting a bit involved in the customs, learning about the history, I think it helps you to settle down in the new place. And I would also encourage everybody to not be afraid to ask for help, you know? It's
Mm.
a very good skill to have, to not be afraid or shy to ask for help when you need it. You may be surprised that people will be actually happy to help you. It's not gonna be a burden. Most people will be happy to help you. It's nice to help somebody. You feel good after doing that, and they will be probably curious about you. So I would really, really, if I can leave one thing with you for
Yeah.
this podcast, like, don't be afraid to ask for help. Don't be shy.
Wow, that's wonderful. And that's a lesson for me too. I know the
Yes.
theory, and sometimes I forget about asking for help. I tend to help other people, and then yeah,
Mhm.
don't ask for it in return. So asking for help, being open, being curious, and also learning about the history of the country, the city, the place that you're going to be living in. That helped
Mhm.
you, and you'd recommend that someone who goes to live
Yes.
and work in another country do that. Perfect. I saw on your LinkedIn profile that you said you're passionate about expat advocacy. Tell me more about that.
Like some people are a bit dismissive about expat problems. Like, for example, we may feel lonely, and people are saying, okay, but you live abroad. Maybe you earn so much money. Why are you sad? All the problems can be solved. And it's not really like that. We tend to be lonely. We tend to have struggles other people don't understand. Like, my mom don't understand that buying something which is so easy in Poland, it's a problem here in Romania. I must plan it or order online or go somewhere. Same like opening bank account. It sounds easy, but I think every foreigner can admit it's hard to open a
Yeah.
bank account. So I'm trying to show both sides, like either for people who are living in the country and people who are coming to the country. There is a bridge between us, and we should help each other. It's nice to be foreigner. For me, it's very advantageous to live in Romania. I find a good job. I developed my career. I bought a flat. I found love. I have my cats also here. So it's really advantageous. I cannot complain in that way, but for some reason, sometimes it's hard. I need to speak other language every time,
Yeah.
which is mental capacity is taken a bit. some things you don't understand. It's for me it was a bit easy, but I talk with other people, and I know it can be really challenging when you cannot find friends, when you don't feel close to
Mhm.
other people, when sometimes you are a bit left aside at work. So yeah, that's why I'm trying to, to help wherever I can, because I know how it is and how it can be.
Yeah, and that's great and wonderful work that you're doing and making people aware about being an expat and the life of an expat. It's not just pink all the time.
Mm-mm.
It comes with challenges as well, and I definitely can attest to pockets of time when I was there when I felt lonely. Even though I knew people, I had friends over there. The friends that I made were fresher, newer than the friends that I
Mm-hmm.
had here at home, and the depth of the relationship wasn't the same at the time when I went to Ireland the first few months. And yeah, I left Romania and went there on my own. And then my boyfriend came. And then, yeah, we started to settle down a little bit and met more people and had a bigger social life. And then the pandemic came and we were isolated at home,
Yeah.
felt alone
Mm-hmm.
again, felt at a very uh, big distance from my own country, my people here because of the constraints that we had to stay indoors quite a lot and like move around just a little bit. But that was my particular case. And I definitely applaud you for doing this type of work and for the content that you post. I know you do it on LinkedIn. I'm curious if you have other platforms where you talk
Yes, I
about this.
have Instagram. It's Pani Point Travel, Pani Travel. I really invite you to check it out. I post a lot about Romania and how we feel here, what we do here. So I will be happy.
I will give you a follow immediately
Thank
after
you.
our podcast. So, if you were to give advice to other expats, maybe especially around people who want to move for work, what would you say to them to help them adapt more quickly to a new environment? Maybe if we talk about Romania, but other countries as well.
Mm-hmm. I would advise do a little bit of research. It can be online. You can go for the country and check for yourself. But personally, I was moving to the countries I was never before. Like I was never before Portugal when I moved there. I was never in Czech Republic. I was never in Romania before I moved there. But definitely, I did thoughtful checkout of the net of the internet. Uh, as I mentioned, Facebook groups,
Hmm.
Instagram communities, LinkedIn, some kind of forums. It's really good to ask people questions, because what you find on some pages, maybe it's not relevant, maybe it's not updated. So it's good to check out prices,
Hmm.
renting, if there are some troubles or not. You can read some articles. Because finding accommodation is the first step, but it's a really big step. So looking, also checking if your salary is okay. And I would say again, don't be afraid to ask questions. Maybe online people will answer you if the salary is okay or not, if somebody is taking advantage of you or not. It's worth to add yourself to the groups of your people, like my Polish people in Romania, etc., because they really took care of me. They were telling me if some neighborhoods are better than others, how is the
Hmm.
public transport, and especially if not, somebody is not taking advantage of me. For example, for position which requires Polish languages, it's fairly paid or not really.
Yeah.
I'm a people person, so that's our advice to ask around. But of course, there are pages when you can check also the prices, and they are pretty much updated. If you will add it, you can compare it to the prices in your country. So make a little bit budget estimations. If with
Hmm.
the salary you got, you can afford the good living or the living you can accept, because sometimes you really want to meet it in some countries. So I understand the money is not as important, but still you need to pay your bills, so take it into
Sure.
account. And honestly, don't be afraid, don't be too afraid. I think it's always worth trying, and better regret that you tried than you didn't try. And yeah, it's worth also since the beginning trying to find some friends, because you will immediately find better if you know somebody, if somebody cares for you or will ask you how are you doing, or will cheer you up when you have a little bit of struggles. So
Hmm.
again, online communities are very good place to start, or even find somebody on LinkedIn and ask. It's all worth, or the I don't know, Tinder or Bumble or other apps. If you can set location, it's good. It's worth giving a shot.
So I'm hearing a lot around communities, online communities, and groups on LinkedIn or people on LinkedIn, people on Facebook, groups on Facebook, where you can ask the ones that are there in that place and they can give you some information and then can give you some estimations of the cost of living if your salary covers it and then you probably are left with anything or not after.
Mm-hmm.
And that could, I imagine, help with negotiating for a salary, right? If you have that information, if you go and search for it online on different websites, if you find it from people directly, then you can adjust and go back to the employer and say, hey, this is good or not, or whatever you need to add on to the salary or get a bonus or get some other benefit that would make life worth living in that place for you, not just because you're abroad and you get to visit different places. So, yeah, these resources and people and groups and finding information online on websites, being open, you said, being open and trying to make friends as soon as you get to the country. And I support that fully because we were talking about the feeling of being lonely sometimes. And then, of course, exactly what you said previously, if you build relationships with people, then they can perhaps recommend you for a better role or create some opportunity for you in that country that you're moving to. That was such a good insightful conversation. Thank you so much for giving me all your best answers and all your experiences, Malvina. And before we wrap up the conversation, I'm curious if there's anything else that I missed in asking you that you want to share with the people of the Venue podcast.
I would like to share a little tip about negotiating the salary. When you mentioned it, I wanted to add it that it's good to know the market rate. So it's very good if you got information if you know. But I would not necessarily use it as a negotiation strategy. It's good that you keep in your mind, you remember about it, you have it in the back of your mind. But if you are negotiating and you know that the salary is a bit low, you want it higher, I would put emphasis on my advantages, like
Mm-hmm,
if
mm-hmm.
you're saying like, look, I am worth paying more because I know this software, this program, or I have special attitude, special language. I know I'm good with people. I know how to solve the problem you are struggling with. I know the proper people, something like that.
Yeah.
Use your advantages to negotiate. It often works. It often works. Even for me, when I don't have a background in finances, and now I'm on the senior position. But every time I was changing job and I wanted better one and better paid, I was like, okay, maybe I don't have the certificate, but look, I have a degree of that kind, and I know how to put it to use in your
Mm-hmm.
department, in your field. I don't know this program, but I don't know. I know similar program from my other job. I know how to do this, and that. I can teach your team and keep going. So position yourself as a person who knows what they are doing and what they are bringing for the organization. So that I would like
Yes,
general
I
advice.
totally agree. I totally agree with what you're saying. Knowing your transferable skills is important because then you can highlight them in interviews and when you negotiate for benefits and salary. So, yes, that's a wise and insightful nugget there from Malvina. Thank you for sharing that and for sharing
No.
your experience around it as well. Um, so, where can people find you before we and wrap up the conversation?
I'm the most active on LinkedIn and Instagram, so I would be really happy if you can join me on my adventure then on Instagram. I'm posting a lot of informations about Romania. In the future, I'm trying to add more posts about expats to create like safe space
Mhm.
for us. I'm hoping to prepare more content, and I would like to make a ebook or audiobook in the future how to move abroad. So
Yay.
if you follow me, you will know about it first.
Wonderful. And I know on LinkedIn people can find you by searching for your name.
Yes, exactly. My name,
Mhm.
Malvina Biel, or Bill more in English.
And you said, can you repeat the Instagram handle?
Pani Point Travel.
Tiny Point Travel. Great. Okay, we got your details. I'm going to follow you on Instagram as well. We're connected on LinkedIn. Thank you so much for taking the time to have this conversation with us today. And yeah, looking forward to keeping in touch and learning more about the expat life in Romania, your audiobook, and all the things that are going to be coming up in the future. Thank you, Malvina.
Thank you very much, Diana, for inviting me. It was pleasure to meet you. I'm happy that I could take part and share some insight, but also to meet you. You are a very nice person, and I appreciate your work you are actually doing with the podcast. Thank you.
Thank you too.
Have a
Bye.
nice day.